Are we live? Bam,
Yeah.
we're live.
Bam, we're live. Hey, Nick, do you have a filter on?
Do I have what?
Filter on? Is that
I
your...
don't.
Oh, you probably don't even know.
How do you do that?
I have no idea, but I can't believe your skin. Are you wearing makeup?
No, I've been outside a lot. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. You look
That'd
like
be
you just...
be pretty crazy if I had makeup on.
Yeah, look at your skin. You're smooth as a baby's butt. Not a wrinkle on that. How old are you?
32.
Yeah, you don't even have a wrinkle yet. Holy cow.
Probably a few more for the last couple of years.
Hey, I know we've bumped into each other in public a few times at events. Two or three times. Were you at Syndicate? Is that where I saw you?
Yeah, I think the first time we met was games last year.
Okay.
And then where did I see you again? Oh, NorCal for sure. NorCal.
Okay, you were in NorCal. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I just saw you and we just exchanged pleasantries somewhere.
NorCal for sure.
NorCal. Okay. How was that? What'd you think of that?
That was an adventure.
Yeah. Did you?
That was more than I imagined for sure. Like, I think from our end, we've had athletes go there the last couple of years. And I think we've always heard our stories of things going every which way, but it never really mattered much, right? Without a games ticket on the line. So this year was interesting for sure. I think it was good I was out there with Sydney, and it was good for Sydney to be in an environment to where, you got to figure things out on the floor. I think that's something she's getting better at. So, when you can kind of throw a wrench in the work, it helps our athletes get a little bit better.
That was pretty wild. She did that, right? Because she did Syndicate the week. She did Syndicate the week before?
Yep.
Yeah, that's hardcore. And is that just she's going for it?
Yeah, we had a chat about it. She came in and we thought, hey, where would you like to be in 2 months? Would you rather say you did everything you could to get to the games, or would you rather, have regrets about not going and doing something that you have the capability to do? I think she's in a spot with sponsors to where she can monetarily be okay if she takes those risks. And I think you got to do those sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty badass when you see people doing that back-to-back semifinals. I thought I saw something in here. I see Nick everywhere. Wait, that's not the one. There was one. Oh, hey, Tessa. Hi, Tessa. There's Tessa as a baby with her grandfather. Hi, Sevon and Nick. Taylor, Nick's wife, is my hero.
Mine too.
Okay, and Clydesdale says you're a man. Okay, I assume. I completely assume. But no, I know what you mean, Scott. Nick is the man. Yesterday, I think you're a pretty unique person, in the sense that I've never heard anyone say a single bad thing about you, which is kind of crazy. And you're able to navigate a landscape of really, like, I guess they call them type A. I don't know what that means, but I just use it anyway. Personalities, and you've always been a class act. And yesterday I was doing the Dave Castro Weekend Review show, and Adrian Conway made a comment in Dave's comments. And I was just thinking, I wonder if Proven if you guys ever need a vice president, he might be good.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? Like the guy right below the CEO in case you get shot or die or something. Because he does that. He does that too. He's got that same crazy skill that you got, like navigating, big waves.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time too. I mean, I remember coming into the space, and he was probably competing then, but then obviously from the commentating standpoint too, he's been around a long time. He's actually somebody that's been a big fan of both my wife and Andrea for a long time. So I've always respected that. He's always had nice things to say. So all the time in the world for that guy.
Do you know him?
I don't even know if we've met in person. Obviously, from a content standpoint, I feel like I know him pretty well, but not personally.
Right. Just because everyone kind of feels like they know everyone. Yeah. Can we go back to like your history? Where are you native to?
Michigan. So I grew up until I was 24 or 25 in Michigan with my family.
And where in Michigan?
It's a little town called Spring Arbor, which is very, very small, in between Lansing and Ann Arbor. Those are probably your two big landmarks.
Is it anywhere near where Hunsucker's at? Like, did you know him growing up, or Raptis, or any of those people? I mean, I know it's a big state, but just taking a
So
shot in the dark.
yeah, Raptis actually is from one of the gyms that my buddy goes to and has gone to for a long time. So they're good friends. So I've known of her being in Michigan. And then Darren I met through Mayhem when my wife was there, where I believe he's like 3 hours from where I came from.
And what about who's the guy, the really old school guy? He was Julie Foucher's coach. Isn't he in Michigan? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Doug Chapman.
Doug Chapman. Did you have any roots with him?
No, he was before me. So I was coming in while he was kind of on the outs, and he was in Ann Arbor.
He could have been your coach when you were 12. He could have been your coach when you were 12 or something.
Yeah, we had there was kind of a new age group that spawned off his training, and that's when I was getting in, and they owned like 3 or 4 gyms around the Detroit area.
And what did your parents do?
My mom, both of them worked actually at the university of the town that we lived in. So my whole family was kind of from this university. My grandfather coached baseball there for 40 years. I think he was one of 5 college baseball coaches who had won 1,000 baseball games in his career, which was something, not many people get to see that legacy for sure. And he actually passed away when I was in middle school, which was, very tough, obviously, but I was able to play in college on the field that was named after him. My parents both worked there. My dad was in communications and my mom worked in education.
And were any of them public speakers or politicians or high profile people where they had to deal with a lot of people? I mean, obviously your granddad.
Yeah, I think that's where it stems from the most. My aunt as well is a huge influence. She's a publicist in LA. So I did a lot of work with her internship wise. That's the route I thought I was going to go after college. That's kind of what I went to school for. So that was obviously a huge eye opener, dealing with a lot of people in the entertainment industry. But from there, it was kind of all led from my grandpa, to be quite honest. I think he was the big driver with a lot of it.
Like sort of like your demeanor and your character, and you're able to just navigate intense situations.
Yeah. So his kind of protege coach was who coached me at the same school. So there's only been 2 coaches there for the last, so he was there for 40, 50 years, 55 years. So pretty much everything that he learned from my grandpa was then passed down to me from when I played for him. So it was really a big ecosystem of, what my grandpa had built there. I got to meet all of his players from over the years, because obviously from the time that I was old enough to walk until I was playing there myself, those guys had been taught by him. I got to learn from them. I got to kind of get to know him a little bit more through them, which was very cool. But I would definitely say that's him and my dad and my mom, like just the best examples I could ask for.
What was the name of the baseball team or the college?
Spring Arbor University.
Spring Arbor. And you played baseball?
I did. Yep. All the way until I graduated college.
And when did you first get a bat in your hands?
Oh man, there's some good pictures where I don't think I could walk yet, and my grandpa was putting a bat in my hand. So it was very early on.
And what position did you play, Nick?
I was a catcher my whole life, and then I tore my ACL in college. So after that, I had to find something else to do. So I played first base there for my last year, and that's kind of where the whole CrossFit journey started, because I went to a rehab center within a CrossFit gym, and I didn't know anything about it before that, but I got to know some of the coaches there, did all my rehab there, and that kind of changed, obviously, my whole life to where we are now.
How do you was it in a game or in practice? Were you in that catcher's position, squatted down when you tore your ACL?
No, it's crazy. I was on my very last. So we have a fall season, we have a spring season. It was my very last fall practice of my entire career, I thought, because I was a senior. So I was like doing something where I was like, man, I don't want to leave this practice not knowing I like went as hard as I could. And I went a little too hard, and I was coming around a base, and the ground was a little bit hard. So my foot got caught into the ground. I twisted one way and it just snapped on me.
Oh my goodness. And is that career ending for a catcher?
That if I wanted to turn it around in a year, yeah. Like if you're in the MLB, you could probably go through a really good rehab program. You got the best doctors in the world, you're probably fine. But if I wanted to come back and play that redshirt year, I had to find a new position.
And did you have aspirations, Major League Baseball aspirations?
I think by the time I was in college, I knew that wasn't a possibility. Like, obviously, every kid wants that when they're growing up playing baseball, but I think pretty quickly once you're in college the different levels to that, where I knew that wasn't a possibility.
And what are those nuances that make a great catcher elite?
It's usually just hitting, man. Like, it's one of those things where if
Mm,
you are a hitter that can put an average up, like, your defense can be just okay. And we had some guys who got drafted on my team, and they're just, you could tell just by watching them how much different. It's just like CrossFit, right? Like, you can walk into a gym and you can see who the best movers are, and you can see the fitness level kind of displayed really quickly. And I think it's the
yeah.
same for a lot of sports.
I know it's crazy. Do you probably, it's not a big deal to you now, but do you remember seeing someone do like 3-minute Fran and be like, well, that's the fastest Fran anyone can do. And then you see someone do it in 2:15 and you don't even know where they shaved off those 45 seconds. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. So I think that was because when I got into CrossFit, I wanted to be an athlete. Like, I think a lot of us back in 2016, when we all wanted to kind of go to the games and be on that next step of our athletic career. When I got done with baseball, I met my wife in 2016, and I really quickly realized there that I was not going to be an athlete based on what I was seeing with her and her teammates. So there's levels to it, right? Because then I walked in and I saw Tia the first time I met her, and there was another level to it. So it's like
Right.
when you see those things in person, it's pretty crazy.
Um, and how did you meet Taylor in 2016?
We were at an after party at the Granite Games. We both had competed there. I was obviously in a much different position competing wise than her. But they used to do really cool after parties after those events, and that's where we met. We didn't talk much after that. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months, and then we had been kind of DMing back and forth, and we dated long distance there for a whole year, to where she was in Iowa, I was in Michigan, and then I eventually ended up moving out there to be a head coach at the gym she was at.
Wow. And that was in pursuit of her,
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We kind of
like
made
new
it.
job and fiance, wife.
Yeah, it worked out really well. When I started my coaching career in Michigan, it was a little bit of a mess. It was like Michigan was kind of a little bit slower to pick up CrossFit than other states I'd been to. So I was working 5 different gyms just to be full time. So I would drive like 30 minutes between all these different gyms just to get enough hours to coach. And at the end of the day, I wasn't actually making money because it was like the gas expenses, everything, living rent out there. Like, it was a lot, but it gave me the experience I needed from a coaching standpoint. So once I got the opportunity to move out with her and actually run a gym in one place, it was a good opportunity for both of us.
Hey, when you were in Michigan, were all of those jobs at CrossFit gyms?
Oh yeah. Yep.
They were.
Yep.
That this industry in general for young people or just for people starting, I don't think people realize how many people do that. My wife was huge into yoga, and that's what her life was like, making a living during yoga. It was like drive out to San Quentin, the prison, teach a class out there, and then go to a high profile studio in Berkeley, and then go to like some old person's house. And yeah, it's a hustle. And at one point, I remember her saying, "Shit, I spend more time in my car than I do teaching yoga."
Yeah. Yeah. It was for me, because I lived in Spring Arbor at the time, didn't have enough money to like get an apartment or anything. So I would do hour and a half drive out, coach like 6 hours, hour and a half drive back, and do that every day. And it was like, looking back on it, you don't know how it was done, but I had such just like a desire to coach that anything popped up from like an open position I was taking, which was awesome. And to be honest with you, I won't even make it sound like I wanted to be a coach that bad. I wanted to be an athlete. So I got to learn from all the people that were running the gyms, do all that. And that's where I just found coaching, which was really cool.
And that's indicative of your personality. Find something you like and just immerse yourself.
Yeah, that's been like, and like I said before, I thought I was going to be going to a completely different path in life, to where I thought I was going to move to LA. I thought I was going to get into the entertainment industry pretty early and just give everything I had to that. Not that that would have been anything wrong. I think it still would have gone very well, but I found a passion pretty quickly where I knew no matter what I'm doing, I want to be a part of CrossFit in some way. And it changed my life for sure. Like, just stepping into a gym for the first time, like how hard things were and how, out of shape I was going there. And I gained a lot of weight after my knee surgery, to where I didn't realize how bad it had gotten, to where like there's a guy named James McLaughlin who ran the gym. And I think after day one with him, I knew I could never go back, which was pretty life-changing for sure.
Why? What do you think? What did he, espouse to you? What did he share with you that made you? What did you see in him?
Yeah, I don't think it was anything he did that day, right? But it was more of like I went in there thinking I was a decent athlete playing baseball and
Uh
realizing
huh.
like you got nothing, man. Like this, he was a regionals level athlete. So watching somebody that could even just move the way he did, and I like to think I was like good on a machine or a bike that we got on, and this little 5'5" guys kicking my butt and everything that we're doing. And we just kicked it off, right? Like he was a really great dude. I got to meet his family while he was there. And ever since then, we've been best friends. Like he still comes out, he works the boots for us with Proven Boots at the games, and we talk every single day. And he changed my life for sure.
Um, how old were you when this ACL injury occurred?
21, because it should have been my senior year, but then I had one more year after that. So I finished college at 22.
Okay. And so you do that, and then you go to the rehab, and
Mhm.
it's inside of a CrossFit gym. And so while you're there, you're seeing those people walk in, or you're like getting eye shots of these super fit soccer moms working out. And um, how long before you try your first class? And do they talk you into it? And are you resistant, or are you just like, hey, can I still do that even with my busted knee?
Yeah, so I never actually went to any at that gym, which was pretty crazy because I think I thought like, hey, I've got rehab to do, I've got baseball to do. I probably shouldn't do anything that would require that kind of movement. One of my teammates actually was the cousin of James's wife. So it was, I think it was winter break, and he's like, hey, just come up to the gym with me. Like they just opened this really cool CrossFit gym. We'll get a workout on our own. We can do our baseball stuff and go from there. So I just went in there on a random, I think Saturday, and James kind of ran us through some things. And like I said, it was absolutely miserable, but I wanted to go back immediately, which was very cool. And at that point, I'd been done with my rehab with the old gym, so I never got to go back. But about a year later, I actually got to work there. So that was one of my first places. And I was doing like cleaning toilets for a free membership at that place when I first started out of college, which was cool.
And how tall are you?
6'1".
Oh, wow. I would have guessed you're taller than that. You present very tall. And how much did you weigh? Was that the most you'd ever weighed in your life when you walked in there?
Yeah, man. It was. I was close to 300 pounds. I was very overweight.
Okay, so you were thick.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you did this publicist job in LA, did you actually move to LA, or were you doing it from Michigan?
No, I spent probably a total of 12 weeks over 2 summers. So it's pretty much an internship. So I would go out there
Okay.
before baseball started and would just work out there for as much as I could.
And do you remember, did you go to a CrossFit gym then? No, that was before CrossFit.
Before. Yep, before.
And what was that when you say publicist, basically, the agency would represent brands or people, and they would put together, statements to share with the public? Is that what a
Yeah,
publicist
yeah, for
does?
the most part, like it gets a there's a line there where a publicist agent, you're kind of doing the same thing. When I was with this agency, and in particular, it was more of events. So we got to do some really cool things. Like we did some events with the Dodgers, to where at that time, being such a baseball fan, it was a dream come true. I got to hang out with a lot of let's call them movie stars and music artists, which was very cool as well. But you got to learn a lot really quickly out there of how the world works, and how communications and PR kind of runs everything that they do. And eyes get opened up pretty quickly on that stuff.
Did you see, the breaking news this morning around Conor McGregor?
Oh, my lights. Hang on, my lights turning off.
Oh, wow, you knew you were psychic. It turned off before you even said anything. Hey,
With McGregor and his whatever
dick pic?
girlfriend, or that too. Yeah, because he had one yesterday with the new girl that he was hanging out with.
So this morning I wake up, and I get this text from a friend, and he's like, "Hey, send me the Conor McGregor dick pic." So I spend probably 5 minutes just I go straight to Twitter, because I don't think Instagram is going to show the old cockola.
Yeah.
And I can't find it, but I find like a description of it, and he sent some rapper I've never heard of before, I guess, a picture of his penis with a weight tied to it. And then I was listening to uh what's the guy's name? Shannon from the UFC, the former fighter,
Yeah.
and he's describing. He said he can't stop looking at Connor's penis because of the. I guess he's got some crazy angle in it. There's a word for it, like Peyronie's disease or something. Anyway, you haven't seen it?
No, so it's
I
out there.
couldn't. I guess I couldn't find it. I wanted to see it so bad. I want to see Connor's dick so bad.
Yeah.
Dale Shannon? What's Shannon?
I think he's one of those guys, right, that really needs a publicist, but is probably too wild to ever have one. So even if he did have one, he'd never be able to kind of wrangle that guy in.
Farmer's dick. Is that what that's called? Where would I look for that? In Urban Dictionary, farmer's dick. 120 dick farmer photos on Getty Images. Okay, I won't do that one. What does it mean in slang? Oh, the word farm. It just means unsophisticated. Christine Young, you really think it's his? You really think it's his dick? I don't. Oh, Peyronie's disease. The Irish curse. Oh, is that common with Irishmen? Yeah, I don't know. All right. We do this bit where someone calls in and pretends to be Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton says he has Peyronie's disease. Now I can't remember if Clinton really does have that or if that's just the fake Bill Clinton that calls into the show. Oh, Shale Sonnen. Yeah, thank you. Shale Sonnen. Yeah.
Yeah, he and Daniel Cormier do a show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess Shale's just obsessed with his penis, but I didn't see a link to it. Anyway, I need to see it by the end of the day. I must have texted like 10 friends this morning. I'm like, can someone find me the dick pic?
Are you a UFC fan?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love everything about it. I love Dana. I love their road to the games shit. I like it's my assault bike. It's my assault bike buddy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here on Saturday. It was just in Bridgestone in Nashville.
The fights?
Yeah.
The Derek Lewis fight was there?
Yeah, I was kicking myself. And like right now, Ricky, Jay, Maddie are staying at my house, and Ricky and Jay are huge UFC fans. So it killed them too that it was here and they couldn't go, just obviously because of training.
Darren Sevon loves anything with dick pics. Whatever. So what? Did you watch it?
Yeah. It was I love watching the fights. Like I didn't get into this until about a year ago, but I've been following pretty heavily since then.
And I think they stopped the fight early. Did you think they stopped the main event early?
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracies about that right now. It sounds like on the internet.
And but I loved his when they asked him who do you want next, and he said, I haven't been with my wife in 2 weeks. I want to be with her. There's gonna be some serious ground and pound.
That guy's made his career on his post-fight interviews.
And then the camera pans over to her.
She at this point she's expecting it. She had to know that was coming.
Oh man. A few years ago, there was footage. He walked up on his car while someone was breaking into his car.
Have you ever seen his Instagram? Do you follow him?
Yes, yeah.
It's crazy.
And and then it shows it's someone breaking into his car, and then he walks up on his car, and then it cuts to the cops there, and then the guy's knocked out. And it's some little guy, you know what I mean? He's like 5'6", 95 pounds crackhead, and Derek has knocked him out.
You never know, man. Those, like UFC fighters, you could be walking around a guy that weighs 150 pounds out there that's just going to put you on your back at any point.
Hey, what's the conspiracy? What are they saying? They're saying that the fight was called because that was a good. I forget the judge's name. That was a good ref they had in there. I don't think of that guy as like.
I can't remember who it was.
It was that really good.
They were saying that they want to protect Aspinall because they didn't want him to fight Teixeira because they wanted to save him for somebody. So who knows? Internet.
I think Aspinall would kill Teixeira.
Yeah.
Man, Aspinall. Have you seen the pictures of him standing next to John Jones? He's huge.
He's a big boy.
And he moves good.
Yeah, the discrepancy even in the heavyweight division from one side to the other can get crazy. Like you got guys that weigh 30 pounds difference in that class.
Hey, did you follow any of the Andrew Hiller's Beat Bagent stuff?
just from what like was reposted, like I think what you guys would do when people were posting scores, and I actually saw a little bit of it because we're kind of getting in the High Rocks world with
Yeah.
Dylan Scott, and I saw him with Kiefer was filling me in with who beat him.
Luckett ended up beating him.
Yeah, Brandon Luckett came in and saved the day.
But dude, I was blown away by Dylan Scott.
Yeah.
Does that mean the burpee's no longer a little man move?
I think if you go watch these Elite 15 guys that are on the bigger side, because it's turning into a thing where, like, if you're 6 foot tall, you're getting a stride length that's a little bit longer than the others, but they're able to burpee with the best of them. So I think in CrossFit, it'll always stay a smaller guy move, but if you're looking at other disciplines, if you're good enough, like, it can be anybody's.
And why is that? Is it because the High Rocks guys are thinner and they have less weight to push off the ground? How the fuck did that guy do those burpees that fast? I cannot believe that guy got an 8:45 on that.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know what he weighs, but he's probably close to 6 foot, 170, 175 pounds maybe. So it's much
he's lean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's not in like Colton's caliber of burpees, is he?
No, absolutely not.
That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's something that, you know, like there's workouts, as you know, Colton could probably be the best in the world at for history. Like I think it was like Rogue Invitational the year that they did it online when he just came out of nowhere and smashed Matt in a workout, and everybody turned their heads a little bit there because it's just like a range of motion squat and burpee workout or whatever it was.
I would have really liked. I would have been really curious to see Colton's time on that row. Did you do that workout?
No. What? So, because I didn't even see the actual workout. So I know it was rowing and burpees, but what was the actual numbers?
You row 100 calories, and then whatever time you have left in a 10-minute time frame, you do burpees. And if you get to 100 burpees, you're done. And if you don't, your score is 100 plus the burpees. But I did it before. I just used it as a warm up, and it was an awesome warm up. My score, I only got 47 burpees, and I cheated. I stepped over. You're supposed to jump over, but I stepped over. But it's an awesome workout. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm ready to work out. It was great.
Yeah, we might have to do that one with the coaches here.
Yeah, it's a really cool event, and I think the winner, all the money for I think the registration was like $7.22 or something, and he gave all the money to a local affiliate, and then I think he gave $500 of his own money in Biomax peptides, and then also you got a free Bajent jersey signed or something. It was cool. Maybe even it was really cool. I'm actually surprised it did so well, and I want to say he got like nearly 200 signups.
Yeah, and that's like, I was surprised it wasn't bigger with you guys posting it out. Like, I think the community at this point, we did one in the fall on an online version where we didn't think we would get hardly anybody, and it seems like people are just hungry for that stuff right now, which is very cool.
What did you guys do?
We did a 3-week, basically like a lead into the Open. So we used it as a online competition to where we just wanted to give out as many prizes as we could. Like, I think it was only $5 to $10 to enter, and everything we made, we gave it back into prizes, and we had sponsors, and we did different levels, right? So you had your level 3, your level 2, level 1, to where 3 was, hey, I want to go to semifinals, I want to be a games athlete, down to 1, which is like, I just walked into a CrossFit gym for the first time. So that went really well for us. I think we had over 1,000 people that signed up for that. That was just
holy shit.
There wasn't anything that was like, I can't win a lot of money here, but I want to be throwing down with my community. I think, you know, we wanted to do something that got people involved back again with the community aspect, because, you know, like after the games with all the things that we saw from people just divisive, right? Like people were on one side or the other when it came to CrossFit in general. So we're like, screw this, like let's do something to where we can bring it back into the affiliates. We wanted to give our affiliates just as much information as we could. So we wrote up, you know, floor plans, game plans, and not like,
wow,
it's not an original idea, right? The games have been doing this for so long, and CrossFit's been doing this. But we centered that around, hey, do you want to get ready and get your community kind of a first pass at the Open? Do this. It'll get you all set up. It'll get you kind of ready for what your gym might look like on a Friday Night Lights, and then you can go right into the next week when it comes to 24.1 or 25.1.
When you say proven, If like you're somewhere and someone says, "Hey, what do you do?" and you say, "I'm the CEO of Proven," um, and then they say, "What's that?" What do you tell them? What is Proven?
I think the first question is like if it's just in the wild, right? Like, do you know who Tia is? So if they know who
Okay.
Tia is, it's usually um, into the fact of, hey, we do online programming for people around the world. We work with tons of gyms around the world that use kind of our workouts to help their communities. And then if they don't know Tia, obviously you get to kind of inform them on what that looks like and what she's been able to do.
So, like for like a non-CrossFitter, was it fair to say it's an exercise program with like telling you what to do every single day, and you can get it for person to person or business to business. You could get it like for your business and then give it to all your clients.
Yeah, I think the easiest way is right. We got exercise subscriptions that you can get a daily workout no matter what level you're at. So you can
Mm.
start at the easiest one we have up until training for the biggest competitions in the world. So there's something that everybody can kind of attach themselves to. And now on the other side of the business, right, with the supplement line and all the apparel that we're doing, it gives people a little bit more connection to the brand rather than just doing fitness.
And what's the supplement line?
So it's something we actually launched about a year and a half ago. That's kind of where after I got done coaching CrossFit and managing gyms, I got into running a beverage company down in Texas. So that's my background, is so like CPG supplements and consumer packaged goods. And that way was something that when I came over to Proven, we had talked about early on and something that we wanted to do. So we've got all natural supplements now when it comes to sleep. We've got a cool multivitamin product that's got reds and greens in it. We've got hydration and some protein as well.
What's it called?
It's under our brand, so it's just Proven Supplements. We sell it on our site and a couple retailers as well.
Proven Performance Supplements. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen this. So that's going. So this is going. The programming's going, and then also, is it a separate branch? The training for elites who have aspirations to go take the test every year to be crowned the fittest.
So I think early on when we started this, it was. Now it's kind of falling into that one-on-one coaching where we want to make sure we're giving people the option. Hey, if I really want to go into this and I want to be a top-level competitor in any sport I'm in, whether it's high rocks, CrossFit, marathons, triathlons, we've got a coach that can kind of get you there personally. And that's where moving forward, we want to make sure we're giving people that have been with us the longest the opportunity to come into our camp. If they've got good potential, they can kind of come up, and they've been working with one of our one-on-one coaches for a long time rather than having to grab people that may be 5-10 years into their career and trying to start over. We want to start really building people up from the ground up from that matter.
I don't see any creatine or citrulline or any of those. The arginine. That's not. You guys don't do that.
Just give it a few months and we're going to have kind of a whole overhaul on things. So it's coming. I use this, and Shane and Tia and I use this as kind of a testing grounds when we started. We've got some really good partnerships coming up to where we're excited for some new products that are coming. And it's been more of like listening to our community. Like, what do you guys like? Who do you take it from? What's your favorite products when it comes to the CrossFit side, and what can help you? Because I think what sells really well isn't always what the community wants. And since this isn't our main focus as a business, because the fitness side is, we want to make sure it's what people want in our community and what they're going to take every day.
Hey, is that a scary space to get into? I can think of over the years a half dozen companies that I've known that have had meteoric rises and then collapsed. I don't know what happens to them. But something financially weird always happens to them. Like they come out of the gate, and the next thing I know, they get a deal with Walmart, and it puts them out of business.
Yeah, it's scary for sure, because if it is your main focus, you need a lot of capital. Like the capital you need to control inventory into retail is a nightmare. And even though it could look like you're doing really well because you're in 2,000 stores across the US, it doesn't mean you're making any money, because probably every dollar that you're spending on inventory is going, or making on inventory is like you're spending it the next day. So I think that's where it gets scary. And that's why we did this in a different way coming in, where this is all self-funded by us. We're never going to put ourselves in a position where we owe anybody money, and we're going to keep it a little bit slower to where we're more just offering value to people rather than trying to overextend ourselves.
Oh boy, that sounds so smart. Big Nick Energy. What's good, Nashville neighbor? Do you know
That's
this guy, Nate Dodd?
a great affiliate owner there. That's a good friend of ours, Trivium down the street from us.
Do Tia and Shane like Nashville? Like, do they get homesick? Do they like it in the US, or do they get homesick?
I think both, but I think with them, when they go home in the off season, it does what it needs for them. Like they get to have some time with family, they get to enjoy the beach, get to lay low for a little bit. But their passion really is in helping our athletes and what we've been able to build here. So when they're back, I don't think they get too homesick when they're here. Especially with Willow. Like Willow gets to come in the gym a lot of the times. I think I look back at it like I was as a kid, to where the more you can put Willow in with all these athletes, where she's picking up awesome social skills, she's becoming a little more personal with people that might be older than her. It's going to give her a lot of tools in life, and I think she's learning a lot even at a young age.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, if they keep, like, that kid can get a full education, world class PhD, and in 5 different disciplines, from athleticism to social skills to how to run a business, to without ever leaving her parents' side.
Yeah, I think I told them that early on with the players my grandpa coached. Without even knowing it, I look back and I realize how much I picked up from them. And you don't even realize at a young age too. They're just always watching. Like Will's getting to an age now to where she'll just watch the room in front of her and she'll emulate people's movements. And like even you can see it, her little head's moving all the time of trying to pick up what people are doing. And even though she can't really communicate verbally yet, she really understands what's going on.
Yeah, that's cool. How old is she?
Just turned 2. She's like 2 and 3 months.
Do you have a kid?
No, nope.
No,
just
you don't.
2 dogs.
2 dogs. So you go to you're doing the baseball thing in college. You're dabbling with internships in Los Angeles. You pick up CrossFit, and you become obsessed, and you start doing the coaching. And then you said you ended up getting. Where did you say you ended up getting your first like full-time gig where you didn't have to move gyms?
Yeah, I went to Iowa with Taylor, so that was CrossFit OC3.
Okay, OC3, and that was a big successful gym. I would always hear they had teams going to the games. Was that the team that beat Froning's team one year?
Not at the games, but in the Rogue Invitational, the one year they had teams, that was when they beat them to get their ticket to go to the games.
Okay, and then from there, how does your path cross with Tia and Shane?
Yeah, so Taylor, my wife, got into PA school 2020.
That's physician assistant. You're basically do all the work for the doctor. Okay.
Yep. So and I don't know how much you know about that, but if you get in, you go, because it's very hard to get in. She had tried for a year or two, to where the first one she got into, you just kind of up and move. So she got in, and I think within a month or two, we had packed up all of our stuff and moved down to Knoxville. And at that point, I won't lie, I wasn't making anything, right? Like as a CrossFit coach, I was making enough money to pay for myself. And we were at a point now to where Taylor's now going to have to be done competing, and she's going to be done making any money. So she had a nice long talk with me of, hey, it's time for you to step up and start actually taking care of us a little here if we're going to continue this thing. So at that point, honestly, I thought that she and I were both going to be out of the CrossFit world altogether. She thought she had to retire because she was moving from OC3. I needed to make more money. So I started working for a company as a social media manager, just like because I wanted to try to do anything to get in with these guys. And then that quickly turned into a year and a half later of kind of running the whole show. And
do I know the company?
Maybe it was called PSR Brands, but the company under it was P10 Performance. So it was like a functional energy drink that was a little bit better for you. They came out with some hydration that didn't have caffeine. Still great products. Like I loved them a lot. But that was in Houston. So basically what I would be doing is I would fly from Knoxville to Houston every 2 weeks while Taylor was in school. During that time, like we really didn't see each other. Like we were at a point to where we were both doing so much. I saw an ad on Instagram for Proven looking for an online programming coach. And that was like, at that point, I was such a big fan of Tia and Shane. I think that was after their kind of run of really becoming Tia and Shane, right? Like where you're starting to see them everywhere. It was after the COVID games to where Matt and Tia had won, where it kind of came out, right? Like Shane was coaching them both. And I just had admiration for both of them. So even though we didn't have much time, I was like, hey, if Taylor's going to be doing her school thing, she's doing homework all the time, I could add another job and just see if I can get in with these guys. So I applied for that. Don't know how it got through. Like Shane told us about the hundreds of applications that got through, and just to get an interview, I think I got pretty lucky there. We hit it off pretty quickly. I drove back and forth to Nashville for interviews, and they ended up hiring two of us. So it was me and Dwight, who actually runs our affiliate program now. And ever since then, it's been, nonstop, which has been very cool.
And was that their first foray, dipping their toe into online programming?
So that was before Proven was a thing. So that was like when we sat down, they kind of gave us the pitch of, hey, we're trying to take this from just our programming we sell on a website to an actual brand. So that's when they told us about the idea of bringing athletes in, selling the programming online. And that's when we were both told, hey, we want you guys to run these two programs that we're going to sell to the public, and then we'll see where we can take this thing.
And were the two programs individual programming and affiliate programming?
No, crazy enough, we didn't have individual programming until a year and a half ago when we started it here. Before that, it was like, hey, we've got some games athletes that we're going to program for individually, but we're not going to sell anything individual. We're not going to do anything from a business model that way.
And so what were the two? Were you guys both in charge of affiliate programming, you and Dwight?
No, so Dwight took over affiliate, and that was launched brand new. So he's been the head of that since day one. What I did was take over the compete track, which Shane was running before. And that's just kind of our mainstay of, hey, if you want to follow kind of what Tia is doing and you want to be a competitive athlete, you follow that.
And when you do this interview, do you turn in samples of programming?
Oh, yeah. I think there was 2 or 3 different checkpoints of interviews, to where the first 2 were maybe a phone and then a Zoom. And then we had an in-person to where we showed up at the gym and it was like, hey, you're going to coach these athletes. Let's see what you got. So it was a little bit of a 2-phase approach, to where one was, can you program online for masses? And then 2, can you coach athletes in person? And the funny thing about this was we had no idea that Brooke was joining at that time, because it's when she left comp training. It was kind of all behind closed doors. And when we both sat down, they told us and they said, hey, this is a little bit more than an online coaching role. Like, we're looking for someone to coach Brooke Wells. And that was obviously a big shock, especially when I told my wife that, because I told her it was going to be an online job.
Right.
But yeah, we dove straight in and haven't looked back since.
And were you her direct coach, Brooke Wells' direct coach?
Yep.
Jacob Hepner with a very poignant question. Mr. Johnston, who is your favorite proven coach, and why is it Olivia Kerstetter?
Jacob's my favorite proven coach.
Oh, that's good.
No, man, they've been a blast to work with. Like now, even because Olivia and Chris are both with us, to have that ability to have them train together every day. They just got here last night, so today is going to be the first day they're with the crew.
Who Olivia and who?
Chris Ibarra.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was on the show. He's great.
He's awesome.
So how is that with someone like, who's Olivia's direct? Does Olivia have a direct coach?
Yep, Tim Paulson.
Oh, that's right. She said that. How is that with him and Jacob? So you got this guy, and I don't know Jacob that well, but he's got to obviously be strong-willed. He obviously knows what he's doing, and she's with him, but also coached by Tim Paulson. Is that does that put any strain on the coaching, or?
I'd like to say it always works out that way. This case in particular has been nothing but amazing, because Jacob just, he came to us early on, and Olivia did as well, and just said, hey, I don't think I have the capacity to kind of give her exactly what she needs, because Jacob runs 5 different businesses, I think, at this point. And it was more of a, I don't have an ego in this. I want Olivia to have the best possible scenario from an athlete standpoint. Can you guys help her? And we didn't take that lightly, right? We wanted to make sure that we could give her everything that she had. So we've leaned on Jacob for sure when she's with him in person, and he's more than open for that stuff. And I think now with Chris as well, that's been great. But like I said before, there's been scenarios like this where a coach will come to us and say the exact same thing, and a month or 2 down the road, they completely flip the script and they just get upset about them being with us, or maybe they're not getting the same amount of clout as they had from an athlete being with them, which is tough to see because it always blows back the worst on the athlete because, you know, you put trust in somebody that you were with and they act that way. I think it's tough, but we do see it, which is hard.
And I understand it. I think of it as like, let's say you're in the kitchen baking a cake and then someone comes by and sprinkles some salt in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, right. So you have and the example I can think of is the athletes who obviously work out at Crash or who know JR Howell, right? Like and JR is very humble and hands off, but also if athletes approach him, he has some very strong opinions and and a lot of wisdom. But just as an example, yeah, you get too many cooks in the kitchen telling athletes to do too much shit or contradictory shit, and then now you got a problem.
Yeah, and I would say JR is a great example of the same as Jacob. Like he's a very selfless guy that just wants to help people at the end of the day, to where those are probably the outliers, unfortunately, because you know how human beings are. A lot of people they think they'll feel one way and then they really get under the fire of it and they realize they may be losing something from these athletes taking off without them, and it's a hard pill to swallow. And thankfully, like, our number one goal is just to make sure our athletes are where they need to be and having the sport they are. So sometimes it's hard to cut off those old relationships, but it's needed sometimes.
Um, how is that? The day, how does Tia do the day? Does Tia do the day to day, or do you do the day to day, or does Shane do the day to day? Like, what happens? I'm assuming that you can't go to Tia with every big decision. Like,
No, right?
let me give you an example. Let's say the gym. Let's say they increase the rent at the gym, or maybe if you own the building, let's say the city contacts you and they're like, hey, we have to do a new sewage line and that's going to be on you guys and it's going to be 20 grand. Like, do you bug her with that shit?
Now, like, my job from day one, like when we started this thing, it was 2 years ago. Shannon and I talked about things, and obviously at that time I was a coach, and it just came down to the part where I was kind of giving them business advice because I was running my other company, and like, hey, why don't we just do this together? Like, there's too many overlapping relationships here with us, and we're kicking this off in such a great way. Let's go fully into this thing. And I think from day one, the goal was, as Shane and as Tia, I don't want to touch anything business wise until like you want to bring us in on something. I think that was very much easier said than done early on because they had always had such strong control over their own business. So year one was kind of a learning phase. I would say now we're in a really good position to where I only need to talk to them if it's something that we want to collaborate on. If I really want to pick their brain on something and we have a big decision to make, because I do value both their inputs so much. But my number one goal now is, hey, I want Shane to just coach. Shane should only be worrying about our athletes and only be worrying about helping our new coaches get on his level. And I only want Tia to be doing what she wants to do as an athlete. I think it'll be interesting when Tia retires, whenever that may be, in whatever sport she wants to retire from, how much she wants to be involved, because I'll take that all day. But when it comes to the day to day, it's just me.
And I don't know what their trust level is like, but as she's grown, she's obviously gets pitched more and more things and more people trying to get on the Tia train and glom onto her and leverage all of her hard work. And so there's also that, like, I'm assuming the trust has to be crazy, like crazy. Like,
yeah, and I think
go ahead.
You get into the point of those guys, like you've probably seen with athletes over the last 10, 15 years, it's hard to build trust because so many people want things from you in a negative way over time. Like, I think because
just bad ideas, right? Someone wants to launch the Tia skateboard, and if you give them $50,000, you're in. And like, someone might see the shiny object and take it. I don't even mean to make it all nefarious either. Some people are just right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what's good now, right? Like, that through me, that can be filtered very easily to where, like, thankfully the business is where it is now, to where we can say no to 90% of the things that come through our desk, where I would say a year and a half ago, we tried to just do everything that we could because we were so new as a company that we needed to kind of make a name for ourselves. We did a lot more partnerships then, to where it feels good now that we can kind of just stick to our own brand, keep building what we're doing with the people that we have.
And so you're the first filter for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone wanted the Tia Toomey handbag, they would contact you.
Probably. Tia does handle a lot. Like, I think it's very cool to see Tia doesn't have an agent. She handles her deals herself. So when it comes to that stuff, she could definitely do it. But like you said, there's always going to be way too many things to talk about there with people having ideas. And, if you're doing well and people are talking about you, there's always going to be a ton to talk about when it comes to products and partnerships.
She doesn't have an agent.
No.
And did she ever have an agent?
Yeah, she was with O'Keefe.
And was that a hard decision for her? Do you know what the critical decision was to break away from an agent?
Yeah, I think when it comes to a lot of athletes, when they have agents, I think you get to a point, especially where you got 2 million followers, you're doing your things. And I think the agents in our space overextend themselves quite often to where, and it's probably the nature of the space, just not having enough money yet, right? Because you have to have more of a quantity over quality when it comes to how many deals you have to do to make a living, to right. Where Tia got to the point to where she said, hey, if I'm going to have to do all these deals myself anyways, when it comes to talking to brands, I'm just going to do it myself. And if I'm going to start my own business, I want to have these conversations in my control more than anything.
Yeah, and that is a lot. I don't want to poo-poo agents, because those, even the podcast I watched that you did with her, that very first one, she has to push off a phone call. So in my brain, I'm like, yeah, she probably has 10 of those a day where people are trying to get 30 minutes of her time to talk to her about a handbag, or an attorney trying to talk to her about, hey, they wrote this in here. Are you okay with this? And just all of those nuances that she has to take on as opposed to an agent.
Yeah. And I think as she gets through her career, she's learned a lot from that, because going into it, I think you always want to assume the best when it comes to deals, and you have to start looking a little bit deeper when it comes to what the future may be, where she does a great job. She can handle all those conversations herself. I think, like I said before, it's always good to bounce ideas off the three of us when it comes to Tia, Shane, and myself. But, she can get in there with the best of them, and she knows her worth at the end of the day. So if she wants something, she's going to ask for it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Are you still coaching?
I'm not supposed to be, but I just love it too much. And thankfully I don't program whatsoever. There's nothing I do on the back end when it comes to coaching, but I love, even just at NorCal, Sydney needed somebody to go with her to be at that event. I'll step up always when it comes down to that stuff, because in-person coaching is what I truly love doing when it comes down to it. And if one of our athletes is in a bind where one of our coaches maybe has something going on or can't make it, I'll always be able to do that.
You guys released this video yesterday. It's super cool.
What I know will happen is that everyone will rise to the occasion and set the standard higher and higher as we all work together with the same
sessions here. Are you at these sessions, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay.
For games training, I like to be as much as possible, because when I typically I'll coach a couple people at the games. I'm always with Jay and maybe with Lucy a little bit this year. I want to make sure I know going into the games exactly what these guys are going through. So if anything comes up, I've at least been there for a month or so. I would say in the off season, I'm not as attached to their training, but definitely during games training.
And will you go to the games as someone's coach?
Yeah.
What is it like there right now at Proven? Is it electric?
Yeah, man, I get a big smile every time I talk about it with somebody, because on the athlete side, we've been through a lot as a brand, and we've had to figure it out. And what we're watching right now is the pinnacle, I think, of what this sport has ever seen when it comes to having so many great individuals in one space while they're all getting better at the same time. Because I think that's an almost impossible thing, to have these athletes kind of put their egos aside, to realize they're all coming together. And although it's an individualized sport, they're all coming together as a team to raise the level of each other. And you got Ricky and Jay back there who are, I hope, competing both for a podium spot this year. And it could mean one pushes the other out. And you'll never get that from either of them day to day. They'll battle each other in workouts. But like I said, they're both living with me at my house right now, and they're best friends. And we've been able to put just such a good group of people together. And that's because we've been selective on those things, that it's just a crazy environment. I think if you would ask Tia right now, this would by far be the best year she's ever had when it's come to enjoying games training.
I think, and obviously it's biased, the conventional wisdom around Tia and her training is that she's a lone wolf. and that's not what you guys are portraying here. Am I mischaracterizing her that she's been a lone wolf in the past?
No, I think you're right of that in the past for sure. I think her and Shane were always very guarded when it came to what they did. And I think even when you look at the days of when he was coaching Matt, nobody knew what was going on because they knew they had a little bit deeper knowledge of kind of, let's say, the secret of what it took to get there. I don't think that's the case. I think they just worked really, really hard, and Shane's got such a good brain on him that you could have probably given anyone that program, and they're not going to do what Matt and Tia did. So I think that's been kind of my goal over the last couple of years of, hey, just because we let people see in a little bit more of what we're doing doesn't mean we're giving away everything. We've got to let people understand that we've got a little bit something different here. And maybe we've got a little different recipe because of how much our coaches care and how much they give back, that we've got to, instead of hiding that from people, let people see that a little bit.
Hey, is the this is going to be a real simplification, but is the obviously from listening to all, I mean, I've watched more proven stuff in the last 4 days than I've watched in my entire life. I mean, it's just been on go. And by the way, some of the stuff my kids absolutely fucking love. Like, unfortunately, Avi's like, hey, I think I'm going to be a Across the Games athlete. I'm like, the fuck you are. But and my 8-year-old's like, hey, I want to be able to deadlift 200 pounds in the next like 2 years, or no, not even 2 years, 100 days. He said. So yesterday we started a deadlift program. It's all just from watching the proven content. Obviously Shane emphasizes rest a lot. And you guys don't come out and say it explicitly, but what I'm really getting is that Glassman line that intensity is the magic. Is that at the end of the day, is it like, hey, you really have to be ready to fucking kill yourself in this workout in order to get the adaptation to be the best in the world? And is that Tia's biggest weapon, that when she's in training, she's really those, and I'll use this a simple workout, in those 100 burpees, she's really ready to go till she passes out?
Yeah, that's the number one thing I learned from them coming in as a coach, was just like intention and intensity in everything you do. And it can't be like that all year, because I think you've noticed from Tia and even Matt.
Yeah, it sounded like that's her games training in the videos. Even when Shane says when the camp starts, it's like, hey, listen, fuck nuts, this is gonna hurt, and he references it as a privilege.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. That's what we've learned. Like, we've had athletes come in here and immediately they're like, I didn't want this as bad as I thought I did. Maybe I'm okay with being a 10 to 20 place athlete and I'll be good. But everybody that comes in here, there's only one of two options. They either dig in fully and they become the best athletes they've ever been in their careers, or we never see them again. And that's okay. Like, that's not a wrong answer, because we want people to truly be who they are, and the passion is going to be there or not. But we also don't want people wasting our time or their time if they're not going to fully be bought in and intense in everything that they do. Because once you've seen Tia in the months of May through August training, you're not the same after that, because it is truly different. And it's to every single piece that she does throughout the day. Like, it could be a simple snatch session that's going only up to like 80-85%, but it'll be like she's on the Saturday at the CrossFit Games going for a 1 rep max. Like, every single thing that she does and Shane expects is on that level.
So let's use Maddie Sturt as the example. Fantastic athlete, top tier, games caliber athlete, has all the tools, great fucking mover, strong, fast. Maybe the only deficit you could point at her would be her size. And so does she comes to proven, and is that you teach, is that what you put on her? Like, hey, this is hurt camp. This is like I'm on the ground, like, holy fuck, am I going to get one more breath?
Yeah, her and Jay, I think, have been the best examples of that. And obviously we went through our athlete issues before those two came around, and we learned really quickly that you can't make people buy in. So like, Jay was first, because
and what is that buy-in? Is that buy-in the pain, the discomfort?
I think the buy-in is the trust that whatever is coming up is going to get you to where you want to go. Like, I don't, because you can't make someone go to that place either, right? But you can teach them the way that they need to go. Because if you just watch Tia do that, you're like, okay, that's the effort I have to give. I may not be there exactly at this moment, but if I keep continuing down this path like Maddie has, she's a completely different athlete than she was 2 years ago. And
right.
That's
it's obvious. Yeah.
It's not a physical thing. Like, yeah, she's gotten better physically at some things, but it's more so how dialed in can I be from an intensity standpoint and intention in what I'm doing.
So when you say it's not a physical thing, then that makes me think you're saying it's a mental thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of this comes down to mental capacity. Like all of it, when it comes down to the games training, everybody that's here as a games athlete is obviously physically gifted. We're not going to get them better in 3 to 3.5 weeks to where they're going to go from 20th place to 5th place just physically. But what we can do between the years can be life-changing for them, because we want to put them in positions over the next 3 weeks that is so much harder than what they're going to face in Albany in 3 weeks than they ever could have imagined, to where they can just perform there. And everything that they go through, and the Saturdays and Sundays of where their bodies just ache here, makes it much easier for them to perform at the games.
And do they know that explicitly? If you're like, okay, hey, look, we're going to run a 400 and I want you to do a fucking honest audit on yourself and tell me the first time you take a little bit off the gas, which turn that is. And then I want to come back here and talk to you about how you can't do that anymore. Is it like that?
Yeah, I think Shane, that's one of Shane's biggest strengths. And Tia's the same way as what we've seen over the last year. Tia kind of be on the back half of her career. They'll just ask athletes questions rather than telling them things. Like, what was your effort there? Like, do you think that was where you should be? Do you think you should have done this? Do you think you should have done that? And it's more of like an introspective look rather than it being ego driven of a coach saying, hey, you should have done this. That was wrong. We need this. Making them think through the things that they're doing instead has been game changing for a lot of them.
When you, I don't know if you saw this. I'm going to say you did. We did a live stream and it was like, I don't remember who was there. It was Dallin and Colton for sure, and Taylor. And Taylor was doing box jumps, and he redlined. He jumped to the top of the box and then went down. Is that the spot?
I don't know Taylor enough. Like it could have been, you know what I mean? Like I don't know exactly what that could have been. But it's also even more than that, of knowing to never get to that point, if that makes sense. Like knowing yourself.
Outside of that, though, you have to be willing to flirt with that edge. Do you think very many people even have the ability to go? Does everyone have the ability to go there? Like when I know him, he wants to kill himself. Like he's exercising some demons. You know what I mean? Like he's like going. Tia just can take it right to that edge and pull off? That's the magic sauce?
Yeah, I think
outside of learning, outside of obviously being efficient in all the movements and technically proficient and smart, but that's the spot?
Yeah, I would say that's if you're going to call it a recipe, like that's your base, right? You have to have some ability to do that. And I feel like, to me, over the last, Shane and I had a good conversation about this yesterday. To me, over the last 3 to 4 years, we've lost a lot of that in the sport.
Lost?
To where, I feel like we're losing the athletes we used to see in 2014 through 2017, that they got into this because they got addicted to the feeling of hurting, and they got addicted to the feeling of just like going all out all the time. Yeah. And there's obviously a fine line to where coaches have come into the space and they've gotten more scientific, and they've been able to put together training plans that can optimize certain individuals. But what we really try to do here is back off of the scientific side of things and let people just be the freaks that they are, and trying to accentuate that a little bit. Like, at the end of the day, the only thing that you're going to be able to hang your hat on is the effort that you have on game day. And if you can't put that in training, you're never going to have it on game day either. So, like, I think that's a skill you're either coming into the sport with or you're never going to have. And we see that a lot of times.
Does this resonate with you when you first started CrossFit? There was like, in that first month, there would be workouts you would do, and then for like 2 hours after, you're still sweating. Like, holy fuck, what did I turn on? I turned on some sort of like, I don't even know how it happened, but something got turned on and I just won't cool down.
Yeah, and that's probably a great point too, is like the people that lean into that and they're like, man, I'm doing that again tomorrow, are the people that we want, rather than, oh, well, now I got to go sit in an ice bath and take 2 days off because I'm blown up from a workout. Like, yes, you have to be smart. Yes, you have to take care of your body and you have to recover. But the intensity of things and going to a place to where this is not just for Instagram posts, and this isn't just to post on the internet. This is like a true passion. And for some people, it's an illness, right? Like it's something they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to do in their life. My wife was that way. My wife still trains harder than probably 90% of the games athletes in the world because she just has to. I think Rich was that same way because he just can't get away from it. And that's where you see the best athletes come from.
And I think even Rich admits that he's become complacent. Like he doesn't go wherever that place is for him. He's built such a strong base that he doesn't go to the falling down like, oh my God, is my heart gonna explode?
Yeah. And you can't forever, right? Like it's one of those things where physically it's just impossible. But that's probably why he hung it up when he did, because he never had that, burning desire to be on the floor 4 times a day in the heat, doing everything you need to do to be a champion. Because it's the same thing as Tia. There's going to be a switch. And if you don't have that switch anymore, there's no reason to be out there. I don't think a lot of athletes are like that. They need to do this because they have sponsors. They need to do this because they don't have another way to make money, but that may not be the best fit for what we're trying to do here. And that's kind of what we use as our gauge when it goes into having these relationships and conversations with athletes.
Nick, when I first started getting into doing videos and stuff, I would do videos for everyone. I made a commercial this is like in 2000. I made a commercial for the local barber shop. I was just so excited for free. I was so excited they got on TV. I did weddings. I did bar mitzvahs. I did everything for free, and it was so fun. And then my first paid gig doing a wedding or something, whatever it was, sucked. It was so fucking stressful. Like you're like, I'm like, are my cards here? Are my batteries working? Is all my shit charged? How's the audio? And I think about that for athletes. That's what it's like when you get a sponsor. Like all of a sudden, there's this thing pushing in on the fun and the freedom, and it's cool. I appreciate you saying that, because some of these people who've never had jobs in their life, and this is what they've been doing their whole life, like you can see it's almost been ruined for them, and they didn't even see it creep in.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword, right? Because you have to have this to be able to make a living. But I think it accentuates more of the person that you were coming into this as an athlete. Like you may think that you want the glitz and the glamour of this life as a professional athlete, but you really get deep down into it and you realize, hey, maybe this isn't for me. And then you're stuck. And I think that's when we just see these athletes kind of bounce around and doing the same thing year after year after year, not getting any better, because they never wanted it to begin with. I don't think it's an issue with like what's happening in that moment. It's what's happened 5 years ago when they started, to where we've got athletes now. I'll use Jay and Maddie for another example. I think as a whole, the ecosystem last year got hurt after the games. I think brands pulled out. We saw money going away, and the athletes felt that the most. I think we got calls from Jay and Maddie of like, hey, I might have to go back and work. Like Jay's an electrician. He's like, I might have to get back on the tools a little bit and I'll have to make some money. And I'm like, hey man, like we get that. Let us help you as much as we can, obviously, but you have to do what you got to do. And he goes, I want you guys to know, like, this doesn't affect me as an athlete. Everything's going to be the exact same, but this is what's going on in my life. And that's how you know those guys, like that they want this more than they want to make a couple bucks on a couple posts here or there. And I think those are the people that, early on, we went for athletes that may have had the biggest following that, hey, maybe they'll help our business the most. You could not even have an Instagram page at this point. And if you're the best fit for us, we're taking you, because we want you to be bought in 100%, because it's more about helping these athletes. And you'll hear this from Shane all the time, perform at the highest ability for as long as possible, rather than just getting as much money as they can in the short term. And I think that's the hardest thing for people and brands like ours, is they assume the opposite. They assume we're using athletes to make money. They assume we're using athletes just to highlight our own brand and just kind of get in and out as fast as we can. And I think we see that a lot in the CrossFit space, to where people don't trust brands anymore. Brands come in and they just use the community for what they need, on to bigger, better things, to where what we've been trying to do over the last couple of years is break that down. Like we want you guys to know, and we want everyone to know, this is not just a blip on the radar for us. Like, this is where we're planting our flag, and we're going to help athletes as far as we can, no matter what, but it's got to be the right fit for us, because we're not just going to take anybody in.
Well, why couldn't, other sports, someone's dies, and I'm assuming that's what you're referencing, the passing of Lazar, the drowning of Lazar. Other sporting events, someone dies and sports skyrocket. Boxing, car racing, the fucking Death Valley Run, the Isle of Man TT. What do you think was it that this sport couldn't leverage that attention or the intensity or the why do you think brands ran from this? Because it's supposed to be something that makes your life better? Like why, to use Jake Paul's line or Logan Paul's, like, hey, the biggest currency in the world is attention. And all the other sports that are dangerous, or when someone dies, I mean, so if you type in triathlon or Ironman, someone's dying every single weekend. Why did the brands run from it? Or do you think that there were other things? It was just like a perfect storm of like the lack of leadership, the changing of, I don't know, whatever.
I think it was a perfect storm for sure, which just then trickled down to the brands because they just felt the sentiment as a whole. But I also think we're just in a weird spot, right? The sport is so new. Like, yeah, it's been this will be 19 years of it.
Right.
Compared to a triathlon or whatever running event that sees multiple deaths a year, it's nothing. And I think also we're under this microscope.
So like it's our first tragedy at this level that we're coping with.
Yeah, and I think with the microscope we have of the social media age and digital media now, like think of when the first death happened in any sport ever.
Or how about Ogar? Let's use Ogar's incident. That could have been horrific, and yet the sport still catapulted from there, right? And yet that was a huge incident when the bar fell on Ogar's back, bounced off, and paralyzed him.
Yeah, I just think back then, like people gave people more space. People let people figure things out back then, right? Like we never knew of anything before social media that was under a microscope like it is now. I think CrossFit may have been in a position to where they weren't as trusted as they had been in the past. And this was just kind of a powder keg of people looking for a reason to find a way out. I don't think this was something I don't think the death was the issue. But I do believe that it was a way for people to kind of push their own agendas, which is really hard to watch because you even saw that with athletes in the back. Like when we had meetings, one of the hardest things that I just couldn't understand was athletes using their own personal agendas to try to get out of whatever situation they were in when it came to the death of one of their fellow competitors, rather than looking at the event as a whole and trying to figure out what's best for the sport that all gave them a future and what they had monetarily. I think they looked for a reason that they could start making themselves look better, which is just unacceptable in any sport in any way possible.
Got it. So it's so hard for me to fathom that that's what they were doing. I just assumed that if I'm reading into what, and I know I'm reading into what you're saying, I apologize if I'm wrong, but I just assumed that they were emotionally fucked up and were just making fucking irrational decisions.
There's both, right?
Yeah,
There's definitely both. But I think if you know how to read people enough, you understand the ones from the difference of what was happening. And I think if I've learned one thing from my career professionally is no matter how much you want to be optimistic about people's intentions, they'll let you down a lot of times. And you just got to be realistic when it comes to those items. And I think there's a lot of good people in our community that are going to get us through this. And I think after the games this year, we're going to be right on a path where we need to be, back where we were, and brands are going to be back. And I think people are going to be in where they want to be, and they're going to, invest back into the younger athletes that we have because they see a future. But if people don't want to ride through the hard times either, like that's their decision, and that's going to be something they got to deal with down the road.
I had Ariel on here and I proposed this to her, and I think I actually think that she was somewhere else when I said it in her head, so she missed it. But one of the things I was thinking is like, I'm surprised that, and I haven't heard any athletes say this, but I'm surprised that no one was like, holy shit, our life is so short. We get so many few opportunities. We watch one of our brothers lose his life in a split second. I'm going to seize the moment, and I'm going to go out there and do the best I can and seize every moment. Like, I would feel like that's what I would do if I would either hide and run, just completely run away, or I would completely immerse myself and face it. And it does feel like so few people faced it.
Yeah, and I think it's full.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like the how fragile life is.
I think it's full circle to what we just talked about too, right? Like, what was the reason that you got into doing this in the first place? Because that was going to show up on Friday at the game,
Oh,
whether you were on
wow.
the competition floor or not.
Wow.
We had a great conversation with all of our athletes, and I'm just so thankful that we have the great people that we have, and not that doing the games or not doing the games made you a good or bad person, but we had people sitting there that said, "Hey, this is probably the worst day of my life, and I never want to go through anything like this again. But me as a person, I need to go through the hard thing, and I need to figure out what's on the other side to figure out who I am as a person, because I got into this for a reason. And I don't want to leave, like we say it all the time here, like leave no doubt, right? Like that's our motto. Don't leave that weekend wondering what could have happened and how you would have felt by going out there with your other competitors and doing what you love."
It's interesting you say that. I spoke to a very high profile athlete who things got very contentious between us because I was really disappointed at what they were saying. And their response to me straight up, Nick, was I responded the way I thought people wanted me to respond. I was like, holy fuck, I can't believe that. Like, yeah, yeah, that will leave you emotionally void for a long time if you on such a big decision. That's a crazy question. That's a crazy thing you just said. The incident, I just had this visual of all the athletes being stripped of all their clothes and their skin and everything, and just all that's left is, what's the real reason you're here? Wow.
And I think
Wow.
every one of our, which was awesome, because we actually had an athlete that pulled out and we had a great conversation. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You have to go through the emotions that you're going through as a person, and
Right.
we're there to support you on the back end. But
Yeah.
the rest of our athletes that stuck around, I think
Yeah.
if you asked any single one of them, "Hey, would you go out there even if there was no money? Do you want to go out there because you're an athlete and this is the path that you chose and you put in the work to get there?" Every one of them would have said 100% yes. I came here for a reason, and I'm going to finish that because that's what I signed up to do, and that's a commitment I made to my coach and what I made to myself at the end of the day.
Tony Blauer, the fight guy, I don't know if you know who that is, but he told me one time what's more important than winning a fight is leaving a fight emotionally whole. And I've left fights, physical altercations, not emotionally whole, where I didn't give it my all. And that is a fucked up situation because I still think about it to this day. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. There's also that thing. My feeling also is that if you stayed and competed, you would absolutely not regret it. But there's a chance that if you leave, you will regret it because you'll be left with questions. And that's the emotional
And
piece.
and during those 3 days, I would say that was life-changing for our brand and our team too, because people got so close to each other. Like, typically at the games,
Mm.
even though we're a team as a brand, we're typically segmented off, right? Everybody's got their own coach. They're very much in their own lane, talking about their own strategies. That weekend, man, we just went like this. Everyone together came together, which was awesome, and it kind of just highlighted the fact of, although we have individual athletes, we've got a support system for these guys that goes much deeper than just a leaderboard or, points on a Saturday. It's relationships that we've been able to build that's going to last a lot longer. And, hopefully at the end of the day, help these guys have much better careers because they're going to be able to share in the experiences with other people.
Dude, thank you for sharing all that. That's fucking awesome. Okay. When Bernie's saying this, when Tia was doing, I have very strong opinions on parenting. I think I'm the greatest parent that ever fucking lived. I think my kids are the greatest ever. And when Tia was, she had a rain contract, and I was pretty critical of her on the show, pushing 300 milligrams or whatever Monster has of energy. And Bernie's asking endorsement ideas. Was it for Tia? Whose idea was it for Tia to rep Rain sports drinks while she's pregnant? Is that, and I'll give you an out here. Is that just like, hey, Sevon, you have a difference. She isn't concerned about drinking caffeine while she's breastfeeding. Is it as simple as that, or is the money, or is the money too good? And it's just like, hey man, if like someone offered you $1 million, you'd let your fucking wife push fucking energy drink too. And I'd be like, what a good point.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a clear definition here you have to make. It's like, she had that sponsorship well before she had any intention of being pregnant. So it's like, that's one.
Okay.
Two, you have the responsibility as a person to make sure you're not doing anything outwardly promoting something that you think is wrong, which I think she did a good job of. But optically, you can't get away from the fact of, yeah, you have a Rain sponsorship. Maybe that's definitely something you don't want to post as a pregnant woman. And I think she did a good job of that, handling that on her own. But yeah, like you you find those, like I said before, you go through these ebbs and flows and you learn from your experiences of that won't happen again. And it's something that, I don't think she was thinking that way at any point when she was pregnant, because it's not something she would do as an individual. But again,
she wouldn't do what as an individual? That went over my head.
Drinking energy drinks when her baby is in her belly and taking care of herself, right?
Yeah.
So that's not something she would ever do personally, but you also have a responsibility as a athlete / influencer to make sure that what you're putting out there is something that you would want people to follow. So I think it's definitely like there's no black and white answer there, but it can definitely be handled in the future. And when she has another kid, of something that can definitely be thought
about. And that's why you're the CEO of Proven. Dude, I drank tons of caffeine when my wife is pregnant. It's totally fine. All right. Fine. All right. All right. I'll ask more hard questions now that we're at the end, and I got so much good shit out of you already. How is Bailey Martin?
I actually talked to him last night, just really quickly in DMs, and he was just so bummed he can't be here because they were planning to come out for the games training. Obviously, they haven't been to HQ yet, so I think that was really on their calendar as something that they wanted to do. Kiefer would be the one to ask from like a medical standpoint. I don't have all that information that he's been going through. He was in the hospital for a long time, and I know they got a lot of tests done. So I don't want to speak for.
I love him. I love him. He's so cool, and his dad's cool as shit. I hated to see that.
Yeah, and I think he's one of those guys, right? Like he got into this at such a young age where he truly had a passion for it. And I think the last year has been hard for him from, hey, maybe I'm not making the money that I want to be making at this point in my career, but I'm going to stick to it because this is what I'm good at. And like for us, he's another Aussie that we love and that we want to take care of. I'm hoping that he can be back in any way possible and that we can help him. It's just always a scary thing when you go through something like that.
He's so cool. And his dad's cool. Man, yeah, that sucks. You really do have a great team. Maddie and Jay are great. Ricky's great. I mean, what a and McGonigal was on here. How did Shane choose McGonigal? Like between me and you, does he see her and be like, she can win the games? I'm picking her.
We had a really good conversation about her. I think it was like Lucy said yesterday, right after the games, of this girl's got a lot of potential. She's got a lot
She's got no demons, dude. How's she going to push through the hard shit?
And like we've been talking about this whole time, what we've seen with teen athletes where, maybe it was their parents to push them where they are now. Maybe it was, I don't do another sport, so I have to do this, to where they get into their 19, 20, 21-year-old and they're like, man, I don't want to do this, but I'm stuck. Lucy's not that way. Lucy would be doing this if there was no games. Lucy would be doing this in her garage by herself, to where you think, okay, this is one of the few. And I think Olivia is the exact same way, that was brought up to figure out their own lives. And hey, if you want to do this, awesome. We're going to give you the tools to do it. But if you don't, go do your own thing. Both of them have great family lives, to where their parents will support them if they wanted to go run a gas station. You know what I mean? Like whatever they're going to do, their family's there for them, but they both have incredible skill sets, to where we want to make sure they're getting the tools that they need early on. I think Shane saw that with her, where there was an opening there. She needed a coach and she needed somebody to put her on the right path. And even though it's going to take her a few years to get where we want her to be, she's in it for the long run, and we are too. So we're excited for her.
Yeah. Her and Kirstead are crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Those two have bright futures for sure.
Yeah, Kirstedter's a freak. I can't believe Lucy's 18. Did you see her on the show? Well, I'm sure you've talked. She was on your show. It's crazy how she talks. She talks.
Yeah,
she's not retarded at all. She's like a normal, like, you know what I mean? Like 18-year-olds. You talk to them and you're like, holy fuck.
The maturity is crazy with both of them. But it's funny too, because you'll see that kid kind of pop in and out, especially in training, because they just haven't had the life experience of dealing with hard things yet, for the most part. And like when I talk about hard things, I'm talking about like a games training day going hard and her brain just not being there. So it's those little experiences. Like it's been so cool, because Shane kind of gave her a talk this year that was like, hey, you've got a couple options here. We can have you do games training by yourself, where it's completely individualized, and we'll say we got a 5-year plan on this and we'll slowly ramp you up. Or you can go into games training with the greatest female athlete our sport has ever seen and do everything with her. You're going to know what it takes, you may come out of that saying, I don't want to do this anymore, or you could come out of this saying, I want to do this for the rest of my career. And that's a big decision to put on a kid that age, but I think she made the right one. And she said, I want to do everything I can to be the best in the world. And she's back there every single day with Tia doing everything she's doing. And I think we're going to look back on this moment in 5 years and say that changed everything for her.
So you could even say from the outside, this looks like Lucy is training for the games, but if you're on the inside, what she's really doing is she's training with Tia. She's in school right now.
She's in the best school you could possibly be in, and that comes to more than just physical. Like Lucy is a kid, and Lucy came in here and didn't really think about, hey, that chalk bucket's in the wrong spot, or I left chalk on that, or I didn't clean this up. Like Tia is giving her life lessons that not many people have ever seen before, and Lucy's gonna grow up more than she could ever imagine over just the last 5 weeks than she could have ever on her own, to where she's grown more in the last week than she has in the last year, I bet. And she's just picking up so many little things. I really liked what she said yesterday about like writing a book about those things, because I don't think anybody in this sports history will ever get the experience that Lucy's getting right now. And if she takes full advantage of it, it's going to change her life.
And I guess what piggyback on what you just said, no one can get what Lucy's going to get in the sport. It's also not that Lucy's ready for it, but Tia's ready for it. 5 years ago, Tia had been like, yo, get the fuck out of the room.
I would say 2 years ago, she wasn't ready. You know what I mean?
And now they're just both perfectly like coinciding their paths. Tia's ready to share it all, and Lucy's ready to absorb it.
Yeah, and I think you look back on any great individual athlete in any sport, and you find that moment to where I think it was like Michael Jordan always talks about getting cut from his high school team or whatever, right? And he had a decision there. It was like, yeah, I could give up, or I can double down and learn from the things that made this life tough. And while it's not the exact same with Lucy, she could easily let this experience kind of just go over her head and expect these things to be given to her, but she's using every moment to actually learn, and it's going to change her life.
Not to take anything from her, she earned her spot to the games, but next year is going to be the test, right? And Kerstetter went through that. Like next year will be the test. If she doesn't make it, that will be, I mean, because it's kind of a miracle what Lucy did, went from teen to games. I mean, it's like now she's in really rarefied air.
Yep, exact same situation as Olivia. And I don't think, Olivia didn't do anything wrong. The field is just getting crazy good, and if you've got holes, you're going to get exposed. I also think Lucy was in a perfect storm this year at her semifinal, and we won't not admit that, right? With WFP going on and a lot of girls not being there, but she sees the moment and she took what was hers, and I think she's going to build on that. She's just got a lot of work ahead of her still.
You think Tia's disappointed that Laura's not going to be there, that she kind of like part of her wants to ass pound Laura a little bit?
Absolutely. I think if you would ask her that to her face, she'd say, I want to compete against the best person that I possibly can. And if that's Laura, I hope she's there. If it's someone else, she hopes she's there too.
Yeah. What about this? Like, so, Annie did a podcast the other day. She misspoke on some things about what the event looked like, or maybe it was taken out of context, or maybe she lied, whatever the thing is, and she got fucking railed. I know Tia has a million fucking stories that would fucking light up the fucking, the fucking news cycle, whether it be with Matt, whether it be with Froning, whether it be with Laura, whether just anyone, whether it be with Brooke. I mean, all the people that have come through Proven, like there was that whole batch that came through that was kind of the first batch. Does she struggle keeping all those stories in? Like, does part of her want to, like, because I know she sees shit, because we all see it. It's like everyone's feeling sorry for person A, and you're like, motherfucker, you should see what they did back there to get in that position. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. She has those insights. Is it hard for her to keep those stories in? Like, how does she keep her eye on the prize? Like, hey, it's better just to be chill and just keep focusing on Proven as a whole and not share some of these stories.
Yeah, I think it's that more than anything. It's like how busy that we are and how much we've grown over the last 2 years. There's not even time to even think about it. I think as she gets retired, you'll probably hear a lot more stories, and not in a negative way, but she's just going to be more open about her experience as an athlete. It's going to be a good thing. And I think every time that
I can't wait. It's going to be great for me and my buddies.
But I think every time we see into Tia's real human being brain a little bit more, people like her more and more because you're starting to realize what a great person that she is. I think savage that she is as an athlete often gets clouded into who she is as a human. Sorry, the light's going off again. People just look at her as a machine, right? And a lot of times they just think that she's just a heartless human. But once you start getting to know her as a person, you just realize what a great human she is. And that's what I'm excited for. And that's kind of been my goal as well, is slightly trying to throw that out there a little bit more with her and Shane, because they're two of the best people I've ever met in my life. And people need to know that. But we also are building something really cool here where we want to, we want to let the people that we're bringing into the internal team have the most of that because they deserve it and they're going to give their life to this thing. We want to make sure that we're giving them kind of the inside look, and eventually the community will see it, but I'm excited for it all.
If Tia's very best, you pick the year, is 100, where is she now? Like, will we get 90% of Tia at the games?
Yeah, we'll be over 90 for sure. I think at this moment we're over 90. What that woman can do in 2 weeks, which is what we have left, is something like nobody can really understand until they see it. So ask me on August 1st and I'll tell you what percentage it is.
Okay. And do you see anything different in her? Is she more nervous than ever because she left her path and wandered into more of the aerobic area? And now do you feel see a different side of her, like maybe more hungry, showing more teeth, like feeling more defensive than ever?
I'd say about a month and a half ago, it was probably the most questioning I'd seen her in her career, just because I went off and did this thing and it didn't pan out. I got sick and I couldn't control that. And now I put myself in a hole for the games.
She views that as not panning out, what she did?
As an athlete, yes, I would say.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't think anyone from the outside sees that, by the way. Everyone else is like, holy fuck.
That's
can't
why
believe she went over there and kicked ass. Right.
But I would say last year was, if you're going to ask the same question, last year was the fittest she'd been in her career. I don't think we got to fully see that, right, with Laura not completing the games, but I wouldn't expect anything different this year. I think she's going to be just as fit as she's ever been. And I think even her path in the High Rocks world made her, even stronger. Obviously, she was already a great runner, but from an aerobic standpoint, she's going to have some more tools this year, but she's got some work to do over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, she must have been stoked about workout number 1.
Yeah. She, her biggest thing is like she hates rowing, like all games training. She so much rowing. And she's like, if I get away with only a 3K row in this year's games, that's going to be the best news possible.
Nic, for anyone on the outside who wants to be a proven athlete, let's say there's some 14-year-old kid and it's their dream to be a proven athlete and they made it to the games this year. Do you have any recommendations for them? Like they want to be a part of that group that they see in this black and white video.
Yeah, I would say you got to take a risk, man. You got to do something that not everybody else is doing. We get so many people that come to us every single day that want a part of this. And like we were saying before, you got to show us that you're deeper than just wanting to follow some workouts on a piece of paper. Like we've had some really cool opportunities to where people go the extra mile of showing, hey, this isn't just me trying to attach myself to you guys. Like this is a dream that I have. They show up at our door at the gym. They say, can I just have a chance? And we'll give it to them. Like we'll never say no to someone off the gate. Like there's obviously questions we need to go through and kind of an interview process of what that looks like. But like I said early on, we want to start building athletes from the ground up. So don't rush the process. Like go through the steps it takes to be the athlete you want to be, rather than just chasing the cloud of sponsorships and social media and let that come. And that's why we want to do it on our end too. We want to give these athletes an ability to, hey, we're going to highlight you for training. We're going to highlight you in whatever you need, but all we care about at the end of the day is how you are as an athlete. So I think we've gotten to a good point of where we can kind of sniff that out pretty quickly, and it just doesn't work out for everyone, which is okay. But for the ones that it does, we're going to continue doing our thing.
If Tia was pregnant, would she, let's say she's 6 weeks pregnant right now, would she still do the games?
Oh,
yeah, she's still doing. Good on her. Holy shit. Okay, so you can't confirm or deny whether she's pregnant.
Oh, from my knowledge,
yeah,
nothing. I got nothing. And she wouldn't tell anybody, even if she
would. Right. And do you see her every day?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
And you,
think there's 3 people in my life I've spent every day with while they're in the U.S. and my wife Tia and Shane for the last 2.5 years.
and do you ever go back to Australia?
Yeah. Planning to go there again probably in November or December this year, and I love it over there. They're just great people, and we get to see our athletes on their home turf, which is always good.
Is Ricky retiring this year?
I hope not, man. He's fit in so good with this group, and to see him and Shane work together and kind of fill in some gaps that maybe he never had in the past, I think it's lit a fire in him again. But the scary thing is the guys' field is the strongest it's probably ever been, which is tough because I think Ricky is at a point to where you're not going to see massive gains and things anymore like you might with a Dallin, right, and James, to where they're going to continue being hungry and they're going to just keep getting better, to where it'll be the little things like the mental capacity, the nutrition, the recovery for Ricky that we've really got to dial in now. And I think this is the best games training he's probably ever had. And while it's the hardest he's ever had, he's starting to realize that it actually might be the difference. I think I had a good conversation with him Sunday. He came up to me, he goes, "Man, I've never felt like this in a summer before, but I know that this means that Sunday at the games in Albany, I'm not going to feel this bad either." So it's like it's worth it right now for these guys to go through it because it could pay off in the end.
Does he is Tia does Tia shine more around him too? Was she, now that she's with all these Aussies?
Yeah, I think like Tia is, like we talked about, as tense as it gets. And like in the past, we've only had 2 to 4 people train at a time, and you get sick of people. Like honestly, we all do. If you're around people long enough, you just gotta have some space. To where I think now that we've got 8 to 12 people in here at once, there's enough personalities to where people are just vibing really well. And it's keeping Tia in a spot to where, hey, maybe today I don't want to be the one that has to talk to everyone. I can just do my thing. There's enough people to go do that. To where this is the best I've seen her interact with people and the happiest I've seen her been during a games training.
And when new people show up, does it add energy? Like Colton's not there yet, but when Colton comes, will make everyone kind of giddy again. It's like I just picture it as like, like a dog park and a new dog walks in and everyone's like, "Oh, time to sniff some ass."
Yeah, that'll be Chris and Olivia today. So this will be their first day. And it's funny because some of the athletes are like, man, they're going to come in here fresh and they're going to piss us off. But we're excited to have some more people in here because a lot of these guys don't know each other. Like I would say Ricky's probably never spent much time around Chris or Olivia, and everybody's just gotten along so well. It's been very cool. We've got a new girl, Christina Levitakis, who competed out of Africa, and she's the one girl that nobody here has ever met before. And she got here last Friday, and she just got thrown right in. That's a tough thing to get thrown into, especially if you're still on the come up of the athlete that you want to be. And she just couldn't believe like how well everyone got along. She made several comments about how it felt more of a, I don't always like using the phrase family when it comes to this stuff because it's not your family until it really is. But she's like, it feels like you guys have all known each other for 10 plus years and you've been doing this forever. And that just makes us happy because that's our goal. And that's what we've wanted to do for the last couple of years.
What a trippy, God, I wish I could be there and fly on the wall. I wish I could be in between Colton's ears as he navigates all that.
He can be your first person experience for sure. I think he gets here Thursday.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Hey, dude, thanks for coming on. Congratulations. What a exciting place your life's in. It sounds like a blast, sounds intense, sounds rewarding, sounds challenging, sounds loving, all that shit, dude. You're doing it. Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Appreciate
32
that.
years old and your fucking life is firing on all cylinders.
Makes the job easier for sure.
All right. And I had been texting back and forth with Shane, and it was very nice text. And then I asked him if him and Tia would come on, and he must have his phone must have dropped his phone or something.
If you got a text back at this time of year from him, that's impressive. I will say that.
He's been very pleasant. All right. Hey, I shared this with him also. We have a pretty big team going there and filming this year. Is there a documentary coming out on Tia this year? Like possibly this could be your last year type of thing?
Not like a massive one. Like we'll do some cool behind the scenes stuff. And I think Tia is doing something with her. Okay. And they're doing a road to the games that'll come out next week, which Ian has been here. And I think that's going to be a cool one because he got to have the Aussies and everyone involved as well, which will be a little bit cooler dynamic than just one person.
All right, cool. And well, I let Shane know we'll have a pretty big team there, filming a lot of stuff. You guys are more than welcome to any of the footage we get. If there's anything we can help you with after putting anything together, let us know, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for everything. We'll see you soon.
All right, Nick. Thank you. Johnston with a T.
There it is.
Yeah. All right. YouTube doesn't want me to look you up. All right. Thanks, buddy. Ciao. All right. Nic Johnston. I knew he was going to be cool. I thought he was going to be a 10 out of 10. He was 11 out of 10. Damn, no one has sent me the Connor dick pic. Where is that? Does anyone have that? Has anyone seen it? No. No dick pic. Oh shit. Okay. Fuck. Wow. Damn. Okay. Haley. I guess registration is on. Tuesday. Damn. And I wasn't coming into town until Wednesday. Maybe it's time to change the plane tickets. Monday.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
How is it over there? Is it cold or?
What's up? It's drizzly and freezing. I'm sitting in the car.
Oh shit! Is there
I
water?
wear shorts.
Is there water on the ground?
I mean, no. It's like misting. I shouldn't say drizzling. They're skating. There's no water.
Is Avi in a good mood?
I misspoke. Very. Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's just the two of them.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's cute.
Can you look up what it would cost to move our plane tickets to Monday?
Yeah. I also have to see if the rental's available.
Okay, we could always stay in the hotel.
Right?
Yeah, we could stay in the hotel early. Yeah, see if the rental's available, but I guess check plane tickets first.
Yeah. Probably be easier when I get home and I'm at my computer.
Okay.
But I could try.
Good. No, that's fine.
I'll look. I can take a look too.
All right. Love you.
Oh, whoops.
What?
Hello?
Did he crash?
No. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Actually, I can look now on my phone.
Okay.
I have my glasses.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Love you.
Love you too, babe. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I have to change the rental part too. Hartford, to Albany. Jody, I think we're flying into Boston. It was the only nonstop we could find. So, and it's Delta. It's not one of those shit. They don't have those shit planes. The United ship plane. All right. Sousa said he's open to leave on Monday too. Shit. Gotta check with the crew. I think Jenny's going Monday. I didn't mess up. It's okay. Even if I go on Wednesday, I don't even care. Like I'm so low stress this year. It's like a huge tax on the system. You know what I mean? Nic Johnston just did the best podcast of his life. My day's complete. Jose Ramirez, fly to DC, Sevi. You can ride in the back of my El Camino. Oh. Thank you. It's really nice of you. Really cool. Haley seems like the sweetest mom. She's pretty fucking cool, man. It's pretty easy. It's pretty fun. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. That's not what I pictured his dick to look like. He's got a fucking honker. He's got a huge dick. Where is it? It's like a little it's rotated, right? It's like it's just on. It's just rotated. That's it. Has that been Photoshopped? He's got a huge, but he probably like. Oh wait. Oh, he tied a weight to it. Oh yeah, so he's a shower, not a grower. He tied a weight to it. All rich people's closets look like that, by the way. It's got a weight on it. Wow. All right. Little 1 pound weight. All right. I miss the good old days of being a kid, hanging a towel on the cock and just walking around. I need to bring that back. My life's too busy. I don't do fun stuff with my penis. I need to start doing more gymnastics with my penis. They can show that on IG. No, that's Twitter, dude. That's Twitter. Twitter. We're freedom. Where it's freedom. Speaking of freedom and penises, Joe. Big Joe.
Hey, Sevi.
Holy shit, you did it.
I did it.
You're a beast, dude.
It was insane. I can't believe it worked.
Yeah, it's how did you do? People have been going there for months to try to get on the show. How the fuck did you do that?
It was Yeshua.
Yeshua. Oh, that's awesome. Really? Is that really what it was? Destiny?
I don't know if it was divine influence or what it was, but it was incredible. I had a documentary film crew with me, and they actually captured like the whole weekend of me trying to get on and everything. So it's all going to come out in like a year or so, which is awesome.
Why a year?
Because they're following me and 2 other trans, and I think they're trying to line up either HBO or somebody to take it.
Do you like the other trans guys? Are they trans women? Are they like you?
It's one trans woman who's an F-18 fighter pilot, and then a trans man who's just a beast of a sailor.
So, one of them is like, when you say trans woman, that's what you are, trans woman.
Correct. Someone who transitioned to a woman.
And she's an F-18 fighter pilot?
She is. Yeah, her name's Emily Schilling, and she's way more badass than me.
Is she cool like you, all grounded and chill?
Yeah. And a huge like Star Wars nerd.
Wow, that's awesome. Hey, I want to pull it up. This is crazy. Someone sent it to me this morning. I was so excited. How do I oh shit, it's my wife. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm live still.
Okay, it looks like the same flight's available Monday. Do you want it?
Yeah, is it much more expensive?
No.
Okay, yeah. Check first class too, just for shits and giggles. I don't like flying coach.
All right.
Okay, bye. And hey, listen, and the luggage is going to cost $300 anyway. Okay, bye. Yeah, I should. Hey, Joe, how much? Oh shit, I just hung up on my wife. Shit, sorry. I wonder.
Aww.
Do you know much about OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Do you think that Danielle could make $1 million a year?
Hello?
I love you. I didn't mean to hang up. Sorry, I got excited. I was talking to Joe.
Oh no.
Okay, bye. I love you. Bye.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
bye.
bye.
I think she read into that a little bit.
A little.
Do you think Danielle Brandon?
Danielle Brandon?
Yeah.
I don't know. You see, like, I do all right, but I don't know if Danielle, because I'm like a niche.
Yeah. Oh, you have an OnlyFans?
No, not anymore.
Oh. All right, we'll have to talk off the air. Maybe sounds like you're not ready to talk about that. Hey,
not quite. Let's just say the crash rumor made me shut it down.
Oh shit. Which one do I? So is it the one that's 14 hours ago with Tim Butterfly and Joe DeRosa?
Yep. Yeah, I'm like 3/4 in. So if you scroll to like 3/4, if you just do like a fast scroll, you should be able to find me.
I see it. Oh my goodness. You're such a fucking boss.
Yeah.
Hey,
we should do like a watch party or something.
I want to have you on and tell the whole story. Like, can you do that even before the documentary comes out? Like, tell us about the bar and people talking to you and how you signed up and all that shit.
Yeah, I can talk about the whole weekend. Yeah, they said that's totally fine. I just can't appear in any other long form documentary. So
I heard that I was noticing that Tony is starting to look straight, and someone told me it's because he's on TRT. Is that true?
Oh, I don't know if he is, but a lot of the Rogan magosphere is on TRT. It's funny how they don't like me being on hormones, but they'll fucking take it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, did you get one of those books?
Yeah, I got the Big Joke book.
Holy shit, dude. Hey, and just from scrolling a little bit, it looks like you're on here a long time.
Yeah, we talk about some crazy, wild stuff. Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. This is crazy, dude. I'm so stoked for you. Hey, were you nervous? I never see you get nervous. Oh, you had your tits out a little bit.
I was so nervous. Oh yeah. Yeah, I knew what audience I was in front of. And my Star of David necklace there. So all the Jew conspiracy theorists were in the chat.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. All right, I'm gonna send you a text and we'll schedule that. I can't
let's
wait
coordinate.
to hear the story.
It'd be really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it'd be really fun to let and watch it with y'all and stuff. It'd be really fun.
All right, dude. Thank you so much and congratulations. You're an inspiration. That's so fucking inspirational that you went and did that. You are you're on a mission. Don't let anyone derail you.
I'm taking over. I'm taking over, Sevi. Yeah. I just want to impress you, you know.
Well, good. Hey, dude, I seriously, I'm fucking impressed. I'm nervous for you. Like, my heart's pounding out of my chest watching you up there. I'm so impressed.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't want to hog this show, but let's put something together.
I'll send you a text right after the show.
Awesome. See ya.
All right, later, dude. Love you. Wow. Yeah, Joe is awesome. Holy shit. Joe, let Jesus derail you. Fair enough. Wow. Didn't Rosa hook up with a trans on Legion? I don't know who that is. I don't know who Rosa is. All right. Hey, dude, that's badass. Dude, there's people who've been trying to get on that show for months and months and months. And maybe years. Fuck, I don't know. And Joe just rolls into town, signs up, and gets called up there. Wait, I thought this show was transphobic. I mean, we are transphobic, and Joe's helping us with it. That's the whole fucking point. Joe is a liaison between. Now I just need a Muslim to fucking unfuck me. Someone's like, this lady that I really like who's Muslim. I really, really like her, and she listens to the show. I think she was a guest on the show once. I think she's the UAE athlete. I think I had her on years and years ago. I can't pronounce her name. It starts with an H. But she made a comment the other day or DM me or something I saw, and she was like, hey, there's lots of Muslim men who are married to Christian women. You have it all wrong. Hey, here's the thing. I want to know if there's any Christian men married to Muslim women. You know what I mean? Like, I know why Muslim men are marrying Christian women. You literally just have to believe and you're saved. That's simple. I got a Mexican. That's Dave. I got a black guy. In the chat. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I know. It's good. Who was it the other day? Someone said something. I think it was someone who was pretty hardcore liberal. It was like a libtard, and they said, "God, I just really just don't like half of your takes on shit." And I said, "Do you think I'm closed-minded?" And they go, "No, that's one thing you're not." And I was like, "Okay, then we're good. I'm good. Definitely not closed-minded." Standy is saving the turtles one plastic bag at a time. Yeah, what happened to Standy? Nick rocks. Yeah, he's good. Johnston's good. He's good. He's good. Bernie, thank you. I owe you $5. Thank you for bringing up the Rain energy drink. I didn't really understand his answer, but I didn't want to like. I'm not interested in like making anything weird before the games. I should say weirder. Moss weird. Sevon, what's going on in Beantown? Where's that? Is that nickname for Portland? I don't think you got roasted yesterday, Christine. Christine Young says, I guess I got roasted yesterday. Glad I wasn't on live. Did I was ripping on you yesterday? I don't remember ripping on you. I did roast Christine yesterday? Oh, awesome. What did I say? What was I saying? What was it about? Oh, wow. Sabir. Joe's stage name could be Jew Ellis. That's solid. Oh, she made the... You know what happened? So after the show yesterday, the Dave Castro Weekend Review, Hiller called me. He's like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Why? What's up? And he goes, oh, you just seemed out of sorts. What it was, yeah, normally in the middle of the day, I drink a shitload of caffeine at some point. Like a shitload. Like I'll usually like drink like 300 milligrams of caffeine and work out. And yesterday I was just on the go all day, and I went and just played tennis with my kid for like 90 minutes. And then I came home and I did this fucking brutal fucking workout, and I didn't take any caffeine because it was too late. I can't take 300 milligrams of caffeine at 6 p.m. So then I came in here to do the show, and I guess I only had like 5 or 10 minutes rest after the workout, and I was all discombobulated. And I was trying to do a really quick show because I needed to go back in the gym because Ari wants to be able to deadlift 200 pounds. He's only 8 years old. So we're starting this 100-day deadlift training program. So, that would be like quadruple body weight for him or some shit. I think he weighs 56 pounds. So I was just trying to like fake it. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to like amp myself up. So I was just like letting myself get a little wild. The burping was wild. Yeah. Cause I just finished working out, and then I chugged down a Topo Chico or something. I drank a pint of water with creatine in it. Fit aid creatine, and then chugged down a Topo Chico, and I was just like burping all over the place. I was starving too. I finished that show and ate the world's largest bowl of rice and a steak. Yeah. I didn't even know that was you, Christine. I don't even remember, but I remember some people, I was just going berserk. All right. Who's on tomorrow? Did Gracie Walton is on tomorrow? I'm trying to get a hold of Gracie Walton. Oh, Greg's on tomorrow. Then Lydia Fish on Thursday. Then James Sprague on Friday. Then Kill Taylor season 2 starts. Can you believe Kill Taylor season 2 starts? Season 2 starts this Saturday. I spoke to Taylor for about an hour yesterday. He's pretty fired up. That's cool. Thank you for Jonathan Ortega for the link to the dick pics. Honor's got quite the hammer. Great. Security breach of 16 billion logins includes Apple IDs. Cyber News reported in late June on its research that the results in the online discovery of 30 data sets, including 16 billion records of user login information for pretty much any online service imaginable, such as Apple, Facebook, and Google. The records include the URL, login information. Since this data is what malware often collects, it appears that these records are a result of numerous information theft attacks. Cyber News states that the data sets do include overlapping records, but the enormity of the data collection makes it difficult to compare individual records to conclude how many users have been exposed. One discovered 185 million unique usernames and passwords. How to protect yourself. Don't download any malware. Holy shit. Good times. Caveman, Kill Taylor season 2, Peptide Boogaloo. Oh, you hear sound? You hear audio? I don't hear anything. You hear something in the background? Hey, maybe I should change the name of this show to Connors Johnson and Nic Johnston. McGregor's Johnson and Nic Johnston. I wonder if I'm gonna get dinged for that. I wonder what the oh no, I don't even have any the show isn't even, I haven't even said anything crass enough to get the show. Oh yeah, everything's cool. Oh, the McGonagall podcast is doing well, and Ibarra. Damn, the channel's kicking ass. Tad James. Tad. Hey, Tad. Sevon, I'm about to rejoin an affiliate for the first time in 2 years. Scared to death. That's all. Just be chill. Just be chill. All right, I'm gonna drive up there. I want to watch the boys skate. It'll be cool. Haley told me I don't have to go up there, but I want to go up there and watch them skate. It's either that or work out. Sevi, I'm happy to know you're going to be a big part of the new CF regime plans. That's not, I don't think that's true at all. I have no information about that at all. Even though like I could like single-handedly change the course of the mothership like overnight, there's no one smart enough or brave enough to let me do that. Good morning, Corey. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Today's trash day.